Alright, we got Bases Loaded 3 for the NES. This was a childhood favorite of mine, but now it just really fucking pisses me off. And I'm sure it must have pissed me off back then too, because I'm sure I had no more patience back then than I do now. And you know, this is one of the games that sadly could have really been good, but there's just one fucking flaw with this game, and you'll see it, and it just makes it totally unplayable. Now, the plot of this game, or I mean, what you're trying to achieve with this game is instead of playing an entire season, you're really just trying to play a perfect game. You know, you're trying to play an entire game without fucking up. You know, it sounds pretty simple, but, you know, nothing could be further from the truth. This is, I mean, it's fucking hard not to make, like, 5 fielding errors in one game. So here, I'm just picking, I don't know what the difference between these teams are, really. I'm just picking them. Yeah, this part is not all that bad. The batting, you see there, the fielding is going to be what's hard. That's computer fielding. He couldn't even field something that should have been a single. I got a double out of that. So yeah, the graphics are actually really good. I mean, I can't really complain about anything except for that fucking ginormous bat. I mean, look at this thing. Look at that thing. It looks like one of those inflatable, oversized novelty bats that they have at a souvenir stand. And the fucking umpire looks like he's got a bucket over his head. He calls balls and strikes like that too. Yeah, that's one problem with this game, is that, like, as long as the pitch gets over the base, as far as I can tell, that's just a strike. I mean, your strike zone is pretty much from your ankles to your eyebrows. I'm surprised I actually made it home there. Sometimes the guy all the way in the back of center field can toss it to home plate and get you out from third base. Guy's got a fucking rocket for an arm. And you've also probably noticed that they've switched the pitching perspective that you would usually, in most NES games at this time, you had the perspective from behind the batter instead of from behind the pitcher, and, you know, I'm not sure if that was a bad or a good thing. Oh yeah, and right there, that's stupid. The guy automatically ran on a wild pitch. I didn't ask him to run, he just ran. That's fucking stupid, and I got out because of that. Alright, now what the fuck was I talking about? Okay, yeah. The perspective is from behind the pitcher. Which, you know, I don't know. There's some good things with it, there's some bad things with it. The worst thing is that it's really hard to bat. Because you can't really tell where the ball is. The ball doesn't, you know, it doesn't change sizes. What do you call that? It doesn't, fucking shit. What do you call it? It doesn't scale. Alright, it's just like one pellet. See, it doesn't change size, so you don't know where it is, and the shadow isn't really all that much of a help either. And I guess they probably did this so that you could throw change-ups and stuff like that, which you couldn't really do that on most NES games because it was only a two-dimensional plane where the ball came from and where the ball ended up. And yeah, I'm not sure if it really made the game all that much better. I guess they added another dimension to the strike zone, but, you know, as I said already, it really doesn't matter because just about anything that makes it over the plate seems to be a strike. Alright, so I'm fielding right now, and I'm not doing all that bad, actually. Usually, and you'll see it coming, it's really fucking hard to field stuff. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to skip ahead to that part right now. Alright, so now here's where the bullshit ensues. I've got, if you notice, I had a 5-run lead. Now, let's see how quickly I fucked that up. Alright, now, what you're going to see fairly shortly is the one big flaw in this game that just made it fucking annoying. Is that when your opponent hits the ball, you have no idea where your fielders are. Alright, now, I assume that was my shortstop. For some reason, the third baseman was in the outfield. I have no idea what the fuck's going on here. And when they hit a fly ball, it's near impossible. I'll point that out when it happens. Now, yeah, your infielders don't make any sense. Rarely is your first baseman on first base. And when you control these infielders, they all move at the same time. So let's say you have your shortstop try to make a play. So you want to move him. The first baseman moves with him, and so when you try to throw him out, you'll totally miss the base because nobody's on there. And then you see right there, I just dropped I just dropped a playable ball because you can't tell where these fielders are. You know, most of the NES games at the time had little icons telling you where your fielders were. No, you don't have any idea where your fielders are. And that's, I mean, you can't even get a feeling for where they should be because, yeah, there's another fucking drop ball. And look at that shit. Look at how fucking slow they move. Christ's sake. Yeah, but you can't even get a feel for where the fielders are supposed to be because they will switch fielding positions. If there's a home run hitter, they won't be in the same place as when the leadoff man's up to bat, but they don't tell you where they are. So you never have a good idea of where these things are, and you cannot manually tell them where to go. And you can't move your pitcher sometimes. He refuses to play defense. And I mean, just about anything you'd want to do, this game prohibits you from doing. It's really fucking stupid. And that's a big enough flaw to just make this game fucking terrible. Now, they fixed it in the sequel, which is Bases Loaded 4, but by that time people were fucking... Oh man, I thought I was going to drop that. Look at that. I have to resort to having my third baseman, or no, what's that, second baseman, field a fly ball. That's bullshit. Look, God, how fucking slow it is. It's just fucking embarrassingly slow. And one thing I might point out is that you lose points every time you drop a ball like you did there. And right there, that was my fault. I thought there was a force out at third, so I fucked up there. That was my fault, but everything else is the game's fault. Yeah, so you'll lose points every time you drop one like this. Fucking stupid. You lose 3 points every time that happens. And what's the score here now? Let me check. Fucking score. It was 5-0, now it's 5-4. And he actually comes back to beat me. This is so fucking ridiculous. Look at that. Pitcher refused to slide. Refused to play defense. Oh, fucking shit. This game is awful. Now you can make up the points. You get like 2 points every time you make a sliding catch. And something like that. But even that's kind of stupid because it doesn't matter if you really needed to slide. You could just like have a pop fly that hangs in the air for about 10 seconds, and just at the last seconds you can just slide in and catch it. It's kind of dumb. All in all, this game could have been good, should have been good, but wasn't because of that one fucking stupid oversight that you can't see where your fielders are. And I mean, the earlier games in the series didn't really have that problem, but because they at least gave you a screen large enough where you could see the entire outfield. I mean, they could have done that. I mean, maybe if you don't need the icons if you can actually see the entire field, but I mean, something had to have. I mean, you just can't field. And why do they even have... I mean, the perspective for fielding is really glitched up, too. Why would you have it from behind him? When the ball is traveling towards the wall, why would you have a camera angle from behind the wall? It just makes no sense. Alright, so... yeah, like I said, this game is awful. I mean, yeah, it's challenging, but it's not challenging in the way that a baseball game's supposed to be challenging. I mean, who the fuck... I mean, is fielding the ball supposed to be a challenge? Is catching a pop fly supposed to be so goddamn difficult that it's near impossible? I don't think so. Now, I'll admit that you'll probably want to continue playing this just because it'll piss you off so goddamn much that you will be just motivated to keep playing just to beat it once. Now, I guess that has a certain, redeeming aspect to it, but seriously, you will just lose your mind before you'll ever beat this game. I beat it once in my childhood, and that's enough for me. I don't want to ever do it again. It's just too friggin' aggravating, so just skip it. Alright, this is Sycophant signing out. I think I may have another one tonight, so tune back in, please. Alright, we'll see you then.